Hello one, hello all, kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in the continent, and to those who are in the diaspora, you are most welcome. We are here to share a few things concerning about our beautiful continent, Africa. Yesterday I was watching on television the speech of President of South Africa, President Ramaphosa. Among the things that was amazed me is the issue of Africa importing things from Europe, and we are importing things that we can produce here in the continent of Africa. Before I proceed, listen a little bit what Ramaphosa said.
Actually, a wide open opportunity for South African businesses. As one goes around the continent, you often see products from other continents outside of our own. And this can be a real good opportunity for South African businesses. Sometimes as one goes around, you even see water imported from Europe, from Asia. And one often asks oneself, why can't this be done on the African continent? And this is an opportunity for the most industrialized nation on the continent to export to the rest of the continent.
Yes, kings and queens, that is President of South Africa, President Ramaphosa. You know, you may wonder why Africa we are poor sometimes. It is because some leaders have chosen that way to make Africa poor. Why? Just imagine, we are importing water. Why we are not allowing our people to process water here in the continent of Africa? And we are using a lot of money to import things that can be made here in the continent of Africa and create jobs to our young men and women. Now you see young people in different countries are raising up. You know why? Because they have tired with such kind of activities. Just imagine we're importing water. You know, I think that is the kind of corruption. And I was listening one day, Professor PLO talking about corruption. And this is what the professor said.
Corruption has killed more people than the civil wars combined in Africa. And yet we treat it with velvet gloves. We glamorize these individuals. We continue to elect them in office. They bribe us with 500 naira, 500 cedis, 20 kwanza, and we continue to elect them. And then they claim democracy. Look recently during the UN General Assembly in New York, what and how African leaders behaved. They stayed in the most expensive hotels, the world of Astoria. And yet, in their homes, people don't have potable water to drink. Yet, in their homes, there is no medicine in hospitals. You know, sometimes in an interview setting such as this, we appear to be intellectualizing about it, to be philosophizing about it. But if we walked out 2 kilometers away from here within Lagos, there are real things. There could be testimony of a woman who delivered on the roadside because there was no health facility. There are real issues in Africa, very real.
Yes, now you can understand how corruption is a source of evil in Africa. Not only in Africa, in the world, corruption is a thing that all of us, we must hate. Corruption is creating Africa poor. And of course, I was listening and watching President Ramaphosa saying about the issue of adding value to our minerals. And you know why we are not adding value to our minerals? Because of corruption. Those who are responsible in the mineral sector, industrial sector, have been corrupted and making sure that they cannot allow Africans to add value to their resources. So they have been benefiting from this system of exporting raw materials. And that's why when you see someone being appointed as a minister of mineral or natural resources in a certain country of Africa, watch him or her. After 1 month or 2 months, life always changed. He become richer, or she become richer because of corruption. So, and when you see young people in different parts of the continent raising up, it is because sometimes of corruption. Corruption is the source of these challenges we have here in the continent of Africa. You know what? Even today we are lamented about employment because of corruption, and many big companies are corrupting our politicians, our leaders, to make Africa the market of their products. Just imagine, as you heard from President Ramaphosa, why Africa will import water from Europe. It means those who are exporter of water in Europe have been corrupting our officers so that they can make money and become richer. There's things that can be done here in the continent of Africa. You see, is it possible that Africa cannot manufacture this water, purified water? Even since then, our ancestors are not consuming Europeans' water. It is nonsense to accept these things to happen in our continent. But because of corruption, these things are happening. You see, we want our young men and women to get jobs. You are talking about jobs. You want to create jobs. So even small things like water are coming from Europe. What about machinery? What about equipment? So you see, and then you come here and lament that we have no jobs. We are going to create jobs. How are you going to create jobs if even water you are importing from Europe? Food. We are importing food from Europe. We're importing everything from other places. Africa has everything, but we are importing everything. We must stop this. And I see young men and women in the continent now raising up. We have good examples in the Sahel, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, where young men and women in that area have coming up. In Kenya, you know, these politicians, maybe they don't know what Africans want. Africans want good education, food on the table, good road and quality, free movement of people and their goods. You see, market of their products. So Africans, they don't need what we call democracy. Those stuffs are not for us. How is it possible that you have good democracy while people are dying hunger? What kind of democracy we are talking about? How is it that you have democracy while the majority, they don't have land? What kind of democracy we are talking about? If we are talking about democracy, let us talk about equality. That when I sick, I can go to an hospital. I can attend an hospital where even the minister can attend. But look, the situation in Africa. When those who are in political class or in the middle life, when they're sick, what next? They go to Europe. Look, their children. They're not attending study in Africa. You see, their children are studying in Europe, in America, and yet you are telling us that you are improving education. If you are improving education, please give your children the same education that you have improved. Don't lie to us. Don't lie to us. Africa needs good people who can bring changes to the life and make Africans happy. If you see people are not celebrating you, if you see You are being celebrated by the Western countries. You have been celebrated by those who are exploiters. You are betraying your people. You are betraying your citizens. Take this. If you see someone being celebrated by those who are exploiting us, totally understand that is our betrayer. Africans are not made to become into conflicts. Africans, we have not created to become poor. And why, if we are created to become poor, why we are in the richest continent? Africans, we are not made to be in trouble. Africa is even. All of us, we must understand that Africa is the even. When people talking about heaven, they're talking about Africa. In the sky, there's nothing there. Those who have access to maybe to go with an aeroplane, where have you seen the garden in the sky? Don't be cheated. Africa is the garden. Africa is the hidden. Tell me what things are not found in Africa. Tell me. Ask me. Even those things that you see in Europe, in America, are coming from Africa. Whether it is mobile technology, things are coming from Africa. So don't tell me that we have heaven maybe in the sky. We are living in the even. But we have people who have been corrupted to destroy and to make evil in this continent. That's the problem that we have. And that's the big weakness that we have in the continent of Africa. They are not accepting. You know, sometimes I wonder, you know, we Africans, I don't know who has been bewitched us. Even our skin, we don't like our skins. We want to bleach to become white. And yet you go to the church and say, I'm Christian, I'm the image of God. Why you bleach color if you are the image of God? You have told that you are the image of God. You have been told that you are the image of God. Why you bleach color? You know, in Africa, even the men of God are being corrupted. We claim we are Christian, Islam. We claim we have created with the image of God. But why we bleach color? You Africa. Why you bleach color? You want to look white. If you have made in the image of God. Why you run away from this continent? Have you seen American president come to Africa to seek treatment? You see Trump went tried to be assassinated. Have you seen Trump coming to Africa? Why Trump didn't come to Africa to seek treatment? But just imagine if it was African leader or African politicians being in that kind of situation. As I speak to you now, maybe he will be in London hospital, in Washington. Why Africans, we prefer others than ourselves? We have no shame even in our things. So we need to change. We need to change. So, my dear kings and queens, I'm becoming excited, but because of the situation, the things on the ground sometimes make us angry, because we see things can change, and those who are responsible to change these things are not ready to change these things. We have minerals, we have resources. Why we are poor? What's wrong with us? That's the question that all of us we need to be asked. It is our duty, our responsibilities as the people of Africa to bring changes, to bring good life to our people. No one will bring good life to us. Chinese will not bring good life to Africa. Europeans will not do that. Americans will not do that. Indians, these are not their responsibilities. Wherever it is Africans, black people, who are responsible to bring changes to the continent of Africa. Thank you.